So in 2015, I was on Tinder for the first time ever, and I matched with a guy named Forrest. And me and Forrest were getting along. So I decided to go to Forrest's apartment. And boy, was that a mistake. I walked in, and there was no furniture. And then he said, "Sorry, there's no furniture. I just got out of jail." I said, "Oh. Okay," and then didn't ask why he was in jail. Then later he talked about how he used to sell drugs. And I was like, "Oh, so that's why he was in jail." No. Because then he told me he went to jail for assault with a deadly weapon. So I said, "What weapon?" And he said, "A machete." And then he went to his closet and he pulled out a machete. Now, I'm assuming the police took the first machete. So that means that this man went and got a second machete before he thought to get, cups.
Crazy ass story time. 23 years ago, there was this mother of 2 children who just recently had a 3rd child. Soon after, the newborn baby was sleeping in the nursery while they were throwing a house party, and unfortunately, during the party, the house caught on fire. Everyone scrambles out of the house and they couldn't get to the baby, and then the cops concluded that the baby had died in the fire. But her other 2 kids made it out alive. And even though the cops told her that her baby had died, she refused to believe it. Many years later, the mother took her 2 children to a birthday party, and there was this other woman there with her child. And now the mother looks at that child and is in shock because she looks so much like her other 2 kids. She goes up to the little girl and says that she has bubble gum in her hair so that she can steal a few strands of her hair. She took it to a lab and they DNA tested it, and that little girl was her child. So it turns out many years ago during that house party, a woman that the mother knew went upstairs, took the baby, and started the fire so that the baby would be declared as dead and she could easily get away with kidnapping her. And then she ran from the cops and they can't find her.
When I was in university, I was best friends with the guy who lived across the hall from me at my apartment complex. And we would go behind the apartment complex and smoke joints together. Sorry, Mom. And one day he was back there by himself having a cigarette when a homeless guy came up to him and was like, "Can I have one?" And Tyler was like, "Yeah, sure." So he rolls the guy a cigarette and turns to put his tobacco in his back pocket. But when he turns around, the guy has a knife to his stomach. And Tyler goes, "Bro, don't stab me. I just got this jacket today. It's brand new." And the guy says, "Sorry, man, no worries," and walks away.
So last year, I woke up to this picture. That's my father, and he goes, "You won't believe who I Ubered today." And I'm automatically freaking out. Anyways, when my dad gets home, he tells me the story, and he goes, "As soon as this guy got in the car, I thought, Caitlin, you would die." Me. Because he was a pretty looking boy. And then anyways, so he's asking him how he is, and he goes, "Oh, I'm just kind of tired." And my dad goes, "Oh, long night out, partying?" And he goes, "No, I was working." And my dad goes, "Oh, what do you do?" And he goes, "I'm a singer-songwriter." My dad goes, "Oh, can I find you on Spotify?" He goes, "Yeah, Shawn Mendes." And my dad turns around and goes, "Oh, no way, my daughter would die." Also, keep in mind, it was the Grammy weekend that he was performing when my dad picked him up. So he was all over the news, the Today Show, and my dad did not recognize this.
So I have this neighbor who I've never spoken one word to at all. Every time I drive by in my car, or when I had only a bicycle, I would ride by, we would just wave towards each other. That's it. That was our whole communication. And today I decided to go get some coffee from the gas station and everything, and I drive by and I see his garage doors open, we wave at each other, and I go get my cup of coffee, and then I also get him a cup of coffee so I can finally meet this guy who I've just been waving to for the past year and a half. I pull into his driveway, and this older gentleman, this old man, got up, smile on his face, and I gave him a cup of coffee, and his daughter walks out, and she tells me that he actually has autism, and his favorite part of the day is when I go to work or I come home from work and we wave at each other. That is his favorite part of the day. That hit me right in the heart. That made me feel so good. So just by a simple act of waving, I made somebody's day. Be kind to one another.
Man, I swear to God, girls on TikTok live on easy mode. All they gotta do is just lip sync to a song, stick their tongue out, and kind of make a face, and bada bing, bada boom, they got 1 million likes. Meanwhile, I gotta tell you the story about how this one time I went to the club with these girls, and they took me back to their hotel room afterwards, and one of them was on top of me, and she was, I think trying to get me to do something, but I had no idea what was happening because I was kind of an idiot and socially anxious. So her friend had to take me onto the balcony and explain that she wanted to have sex with me, and my only response to that was, oh, well, I'm gay. Here's the thing, guys. I'm not actually gay. I'm just an idiot who has no idea what to do with a woman when she wants him. So I promptly left as quickly as possible, and as I was going out the door, the two of them flashed their tits at me while laughing, and all I could do was just give them a thumbs up and say thanks. I'm an idiot.
Story time. I went to the grocery store this evening, and this lady would not stop staring at me as I was in line behind her. She said, "You look just like my daughter. She has passed away." And me being me was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And she said, "Could you maybe say a couple of things to warm my soul?" I was like, "Yeah, what can I do?" She said, "Maybe say I love you, Mom." So out loud I said, "I love you, Mom." She touches her heart real gently and was just so warmed. She moves on, checks out, goodbye. I go to pay for my beer and wine that I had put on the conveyor belt. The cashier says, $116.84, please. I didn't buy $180 worth of shit. He said, "Your mom said you'd pay for her stuff."
People go, "Zach, you don't have favorites in your kids." The fuck I don't. Here's my oldest and my youngest. Here's the big difference and why I love the oldest the most. She breaks an $8 lamp from Walmart. You would have thought she shot me at point blank range. She's shaking and crying, and I'm like, "Honey, it's okay. You were chasing the dog, shit happens." My youngest, that little psychopath, comes up to me butt ass naked and goes, "Dad, I pooped behind the couch." What the fuck? You walked downstairs, took your pants off, took your pull-up off, Haji squatted down and shit behind the couch that you had to move to get your fat little ass behind. And she was like, "What are we gonna do?" I had to go literally pick up human shit with a plastic bag like she's a fucking animal. That's premeditated shitting in the house. She passed 2 bathrooms on her way down there. Psychopath. Least favorite. Number 2 out of fucking 2.
Story time. So a few years ago when I was 17, I worked at a garage. If you don't know what that is, it's a clothing store. One time, I was leaving work around 8, and I got out to my car and I realized there was a towel wrapped around my passenger mirror. Me being me and knowing all of the safety shit because I'm a girl, I cannot tell you how fast I got out of there. I pull out my phone and I dial 911, but I don't call. I pretend like I'm on the phone with 911 and I say, "Hey, I know about sex trafficking and I know that if you have a towel wrapped around your mirror, blah, 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 they're gonna get you." So as I was saying this, I turn around and I see 2 men getting back into their black truck and driving off because they heard that I was on the phone with the police. I didn't even attempt to take off the towel until I got home. I live in a very small town, and if you think that this shit doesn't happen every single day to other girls, it does. It's terrifying, and I'm really lucky that I got out of that situation. Not every girl is so lucky. Please be safe.
Okay, so story time. Now, I have 2 brothers. One older, one younger. And when I was growing up, my older brother was a bit of a terror. He had this thing of walking over to me and farting on me. He would then run away giggling like a young boy would. But then one day, round about 5 or 6, I eventually snapped. "I can't take this anymore, Jeremy! I will no longer stand for your poo mist in and around my nostrils!" So I devised a cunning plan. One day for dessert, my mother had given me a chocolate pudding. And that's when the plan came together. My brother was off building something with Lego. So I placed 2 fingers into the pudding and scooped some up. I then ran over to where he was playing, bent over while flicking the chocolate pudding through my leg and making a loud Trump noise. Hitting him in the side of the face and the back of his head. Oh, what's that? He sees the brown colouring, presumes it's poo, and then is violently sick all over his Lego. He probably still thinks it was poo.
Story time. Struggles with having a teenager. So the daughter asked if she could go to her boyfriend's after school. I said, "Yeah, but you're going to have to find your own way home because mom's not feeling good. She's been in bed for 2 days." So daughter goes to the boyfriend's, all fine and dandy. 8:15. Husband gets a text message saying, "Dad, can you come pick me up? I'm not feeling well." Dad goes, "Nope, can't drive. Sorry." So mama goes, "Fine, I'll go get her." I'm not impressed about this. I'm actually quite pissed. So I go pick up the daughter. She gets in the car and she goes, I'm not feeling well. I'm like, okay, what's wrong? Tell me what your symptoms are. She goes, okay, but you can't be mad. I'm like, okay. She goes, well, somebody at school gave me a cookie. I'm like, okay. She's like, it was inedible. I'm like, yep, that would do it. Husband, why couldn't you go pick her up?
I had an edible.
Yeah, welcome to Canada, folks.